Wow, that's a lot of notifications coming in. I wonder what that's all about. Let me take a look. Oh wait, that's coming from my own app. A few weeks ago, I had built a new app called Summit. This is an outdoors activities app that allows my users to discover trails and plan hiking trips. I had recently just implemented notifications. However, I realized that messages were being sent to everyone who's downloaded my app. This ends up being quite spammy to all of my users. Thankfully, Firebase Messaging, which I may or may not be an engineer on, provides the ability to target. And today, we'll be taking a look at how we can fix Summit to send notifications only to those who will find these notifications useful. Hi, my name is Chen, and I am indeed a software engineer on the Firebase Messaging team. So, what is Firebase Messaging, also known as FCM? Well, it is a no-cost service that allows you to send messages across Android, iOS, and web. Through the Firebase Admin SDK, the REST APIs, and campaigns on the Firebase console, you can send messages to all of users of your app or specific devices. While sending to all of your users might be a great idea, especially for events that pertain to everyone, such as a new version of Summit launching, we saw before that sending too many messages ends up with annoyed users who will end up skipping your messages or treating them like spam. Thankfully, Firebase Cloud Messaging has targeting capabilities that can help. This allows you to deliver personalized messages to subsets of your user base, allowing you to find and send messages to those that will find them most relevant. So instead of sending messages to all of your users or those with specific devices, you can target FCM notifications to groups of users in between using Google Analytics-based targeting, topics, and imported segments. We'll be going over each of these in today's talk. So let's first get started with analytics-based targeting. Like its name implies, for Google Analytics-based targeting, you'll need to enable Google Analytics within your app. Let's see how we can use analytics-based targeting to narrow down the user that you send messages to. So out of the box, analytics-based targeting already provides default user targeting criteria, such as version, language, country and region, first open, and last app engagement. These are very useful when, for example, you want to target specific users that use specific versions of your app or are located within a specific region. Since the weather has gotten a lot nicer, we want to send a reminder to our users, encouraging them to get out more outdoors recently. So who should we send this notification to? We probably don't want to send it to users who are already regularly using our app. So how about we send it to those who haven't opened our app within the past 2 weeks? For that, we can use the last app engagement targeting criteria. This will allow us to send a reminder to those who haven't opened our app within the last 2 weeks. While sending reminders to those who haven't opened our app in a while is already a great improvement over sending to everyone, this is still pretty broad and our message is still pretty generic. Looking at our users, we can probably group them into more descriptive groups, such as skill level. Looking at Summit's users, we probably have hikers that range from beginners to intermediate to expert. A more customized message will be one that's personalized to each group. For example, we would want to send beginners a message such as, explore short 1 to 3 mile hikes near you. How do we go about doing this? Well, we can set this up using custom user properties. First, within our app, we can tag our users with properties, such as skill level or current region. After we set this up, we can then go to the Firebase console in order to define a custom definition. Once that is all done, now we can then select this as a targeting criteria when drafting a new messaging campaign within the Firebase console. And this allows us to send messages directly to these users with these analytics tags. If we wanted to combine multiple of these properties together, for more granular targeting, we can even create a user audience. This enables us to save an audience defined by a combination of properties. An example of how this could be useful for Summit could be creating an audience that has a skill level of expert located within the Northern California region and then uses the app within English. Similar to before, once that's all set up, we can then select this user audience as a targeting criteria when we're setting up a message campaign. So now we'll be able to let our English app users that are expert hikers located in Northern California know that reservations for backpacking in Yosemite, which is also located in Northern California, are now open. We can even track metrics within the Firebase console and track how our audiences grow over time. So using Firebase Cloud Messaging with Google Analytics, we've seen how to customize our messages for subsets of our users through provided user targeting criteria, customized user properties, and user audiences. For each of these, Firebase keeps track of membership for you. The analytics properties, custom dimensions, and audiences are general to analytics as a whole, and they're usable across various Firebase products, so not just Firebase Cloud Messaging. This also allows you to view open counts and conversion metrics within your Firebase Messaging console in order for you to determine the engagement of your messaging campaigns. So using analytics and user properties are a great way to customize your messages. However, there are a few limitations. First, there's a quota on the number of custom dimensions that you can create. Next, for your user properties can only be mapped to a single value. For example, the current region can only be set as Northern California or the Pacific Northwest, but not both. This gets tricky to set up for many one-to-many relationships. To solve this problem, let's see how we can use targeting via topic subscriptions. Let's say, for summer users, we will want them to provide them with a way of favoriting trails so that they can get updates on trail conditions, such as inclement weather or trail closures. They may have multiple trails that they're currently watching, so there's no easy way to map this to an analytics user property. How will we send users these notifications based on the trails that they're interested in? Well, we can do this using FCM topics. First, we can create a trail condition topic for each trail. The example that we're using here is a trail condition for the Sparky Trail. Upon favoriting, we can then subscribe a user to this trail topic in the Summit app using client-side code. Once that is done, we can then select the Sparky Trail topic as targeting criteria within the Firebase console or the admin SDK. You can even combine multiple topics together using Boolean operators via topic conditions. So with topics, FCM also takes care of managing which of your users is subscribed or unsubscribed to a specific topic and fanning out your messages within a timely manner. Topics keeps your infrastructure simple. Imagine having to build all of this yourself. Finally, now that we saw topic membership can be handled through client-side subscriptions, what if we wanted to include server-side analytics? Well, for that, we can use imported segments. So to set up an example use case again, for Summit, we have a hiker's retreat coming up. Based on our users' hiking history and trail preferences, we have used an in-house analytics engine and identified a group of users who would be interested in signing up for our retreat. How can we deliver a targeted invitation to each of these users? Well, using imported segments, we can do that. Unlike targeting with Google Analytics or topics, for imported segments, we will, however, need to maintain an internal database that associates each user with their corresponding FCM registration tokens. Once our analytics engine runs on our internal database and identifies the users that we would want to label as retreat-interested users, we would have to import this group into BigQuery. Data is imported into BigQuery as two tables, a segment memberships table and a segments metadata table. For segment memberships, it contains the instance ID from each user's registration token and segment labels. The segment metadata table then contains all segment labels and display names used for use within the Firebase console. Once that's done, like before, we can now select this imported segment as retreat-interested users as our targeting campaign criteria. So by combining FCM with BigQuery, Imported segments allows for a high degree of personalization for your message sends. It enables you to incorporate server-side analytics, either in-house or out of the box, to label specific groups of your users with segment labels. Then, through integration with Firebase Messaging, you're able to deliver messages to these users with just a few clicks. So, that brings us to the conclusion of targeting methods within FCM. Today, we've talked about 5 different targeting methods to improve how we can send engaging messages to our users. Using analytics, we explored how to send notifications to users using default user properties, custom user properties, and user audiences. Then we saw how we can send messages to topic subscribers via client-side subscriptions using FCM topics. And finally, we were able to leverage server-side analytics in order to identify, label, and import these segments of our user base into BigQuery for targeting through imported segments. Using these tools, you're able to build and deploy your solutions within just a few clicks and just a few lines of code. So now that we've explored various ways to send notifications to specific users, I'm going to go back and fix Summit so that I don't end up spamming and overburdening my users with a ton of notifications. Using FCM's targeting capabilities, you can be more deliberate with your messaging campaigns, send engaging messages to relevant user segments, and measure the effectiveness of your campaigns. I hope all of this was helpful for all of you. I'm looking forward to seeing how all of you can improve your messaging with targeting within FCM. If you have any questions for today, I will be in the Ask Firebase Lounge after this to answer any questions. Thank you all for your time.